You know how picking a new graphics card can feel like a total gamble, right? Well, what if I told you there are 5 cards out there for 2025 that are such sure things, you could literally pick one with your eyes closed and still make an amazing choice. Let's figure out which one is the perfect one for you. So we're going to kick things off with something that sounds, well, completely backwards. We're going to look at what appears to be the most ridiculously expensive top-of-the-line card you can buy and ask a very, very strange question about it. And that, believe it or not, brings us to our very first pick, the NVIDIA RTX 5090. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can this possibly be on a greatest hits list? But trust me, for a very specific type of person, this card completely flips the script on what value even means. Okay, let's just get it out of the way. The price. 100 million Vietnamese dong. Yeah, you heard me right. For most of us, especially gamers, it's Fantasyland. It seems completely impossible to justify spending that kind of money. But here's the twist. Why on earth would we call that a bargain? Well, this is where you have to kind of flip your thinking on its head. If you stop looking at this as a gaming toy and start seeing it as a professional tool, the entire picture changes. For the right person, this isn't an expense. It's a straight-up investment. See, it's all about what this card lets you do. For professionals who are deep in things like large-scale 3D rendering or training AI models, that 32 gigabytes of VRAM is everything. Think of it as a massive digital workbench. It lets them handle huge, complicated projects that would choke other cards. And here's the kicker. Just a couple of years ago, to get that kind of VRAM and a similar amount of computing power from all those CUDA cores, you had to buy a specialized Pro card that cost 2 or 3 times as much. The RTX 5090 gives you all that power for a fraction of the cost, making it an incredible, almost unbelievable bargain for people who rely on this for their job. Okay, let's do a complete 180. From the absolute top of the mountain, let's dive all the way down to the other end of the spectrum. We're talking about a card that absolutely owns the budget gaming scene and offers a totally different, but just as powerful kind of value. And here it is, the AMD RX 6600. It comes in at around 5 million VND. For so many gamers, this is the golden ticket. It's how you get into real, high-quality PC gaming without having to empty your wallet. And that quote really just nails it, doesn't it? If your mission is pure, unadulterated gaming, especially the latest, most demanding titles, the RX 6600 just runs circles around its direct competition. For 5 million, if all you want to do is play games and get awesome frame rates, there is no better choice, period. But here's the catch. That laser-like focus on gaming, that's also its one big weakness. The second you need to do creative work, video editing, 3D modeling, that kind of stuff, the RX 6600 starts to show its limits. And that leads us right to its biggest rival, and a whole different idea of what makes a card valuable. And this puts you at a crossroads, right? It's a classic dilemma in the budget world. Do you go for the RX 6600 to get the absolute fastest gaming speed for the least amount of money? Or are you willing to spend just a little bit more for a card that can handle both your work and your play? Well, that brings us neatly to our next pick. This brings us to a whole different category of cards, the all-rounders, the jack-of-all-trades. And we're going to start with that surprisingly tough competitor to the RX 6600, the RTX 3060. Yeah, on paper, its GPU might be a step behind the RX 6600 in some games, but it has a secret weapon, that 12 gigabytes of VRAM. That's its insurance policy. It means the 3060 can actually finish a job, like rendering a complex scene or messing with a local AI model, that other cards in its price range can't even begin to attempt. It might take a bit longer, sure, but it gets the job done. So that's the budget do-it-all card. But what if you need more? What if you're looking for that true sweet spot? The card for someone who wants killer gaming performance and serious professional power without any real compromises. And you know, when you look at the high end like this, the choice becomes surprisingly clear. You've got the standard 5070. It's a great card for 4K gaming, but it's held back by that same 12 gig VRAM limit. Then you've got the 5080, which is an absolute beast for gaming, but the value for professional work is questionable. And then, sitting right there in the middle, you have the RTX 5070 Ti, which just hits that perfect balance. And this chart just drives that point home. I mean, look at that massive jump in price from the 5070 Ti to the 5080. You're paying a 10 million VND premium for what exactly? A tiny little bump in performance for your work? For most people, the math on that just doesn't add up. And this right here is the bottom line. It's the most crucial point. With its 16 gigs of VRAM, the 5070 Ti can handle the exact same heavy-duty professional jobs as the much pricier 5080. Yes, you might have to wait a few extra minutes for a render to finish, but the question is saving that little bit of time worth 10 million dong? For pretty much everyone, the answer is a huge no, which makes the RTX 5070 Ti the card you can pick, blindfolded, for elite gaming and serious pro work. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the super affordable to the super powered. So let's boil it all down into a really simple guide to help you find your absolute perfect match for 2025. So who are you in this lineup? If your time is money and you need maximum horsepower, the RTX 5090 is an absolute bargain. If you're a pure gamer on a tight budget, the RX 6600 is your champion, no question. If you're a creator who needs a flexible tool that won't break the bank, the RTX 3060 is the safe, smart choice. And if you're the person who wants it all, the best of every world, then the RTX 5070 Ti is the undisputed winner. So there you have it. The landscape for 2025 is laid out pretty clearly. Each one of these cards offers a very specific and very powerful kind of value. The only real question left is, which one is going to be the engine for your next big project or your next gaming adventure?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.